Hello and welcome to Elecspo, and Marcelo Bielsa is no longer the Leeds United manager. He was relieved of his duties at the weekend after a 4-0 thumping from Tottenham Hotspur. Follow that up with the 6-0 defeat of Liverpool during the week, and it wasn't a great 7 days for Marcelo Bielsa. Now he's been sacked and Leeds have already got a new manager. Jesse Marsch is the new man in the dugout. The American is in the Premier League, the second American to manage a Premier League team, and he's going to be tasked with keeping Leeds in the Premier League. But how will he get on? Well, using Football Manager 2022, we're going to find out right here, right now. So let's dive into this simulation and see just how Jesse Marsch gets on as Leeds United manager. Let's go. Right, here we are at the start of the simulation. We've just got to the start of the season rather than midway through, just because I can't get the exact result. And as you can see, Marcelo Bielsa no longer the Leeds manager. Instead is the American, Jesse Marsch. Previously at Leipzig, he was at Salzburg, also at New York Red Bulls, a lot of energy drink inside of him. But now he's at the monster that is Leeds United. He's going to have a huge job on his hands. I mean, Leeds fans absolutely adored Bielsa, and rightly so. The work he did at Elland Road was truly fantastic. Sacking him, I mean, it is, based on results, probably the right decision. But for what he's done to the club, it's harsh. But then again, there was talk he was going to leave at the end of the season anyway. Leeds have acted now. They've brought in a new boss in Jesse Marsch. Can he do it? I mean, there will be doubters. There always is with American coaches. I mean, Christ, remember Bob Bradley or Brad Bobley? That was the Soccer AM guy, wasn't it? That was the old Mickey T. That was fun. Remember when Soccer AM was funny? But anyway, talking about things that aren't funny, let's crack on with this video. Let's see how long Jesse Marsch gets as Leeds United manager. Will it be a week? Will it be 10 years? Let's go into the future. Let's see how long he lasts. Let's go. Right, here we are a year into the future, sadly a lot sooner than I would have hoped, and that is because Jesse Marsch didn't even last a full year in the Elland Road dugout. He was sacked on the 13th of March 2022, 251 days, and he was sacked. Replaced by Alfred Schroeder, who is the Club Bruges manager, or Brugge as it might be pronounced. He's the new man at Leeds, replacing Jesse Marsch, who didn't even last a full year in charge. He was sacked on the 13th of March 2022. Let's see what happened on that date to force Jesse Marsch out of the club. Well, my oh my, they were on a horrific run. They were beaten 2-0 by West Ham, 2 goals in the first 6 minutes. Before then, the last time they'd won a game was on New Year's Day against Norwich in the Premier League. They hadn't won in 9 games. Defeats to Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, Brentford, Man United, Arsenal and West Ham, and 1 draw, a single point in that run, a 1-1 draw with Crystal Palace. I mean, some very tough fixtures in there, but an appalling run of form. Even before then, things were, at the start of the season, okay. Yes, they lost on the opening day, but they did recover. But where were they in the league when Jesse Marsch was given the boot? Man City winning the title there, which is irrelevant, no one really cares. And Tottenham appointing Marcelo Bielsa, because that's just what happens on Football Manager. But we'll go to the past positions, we will go to Leeds, and things were actually going quite well for them at the start of the season. They were as high as 5th in the early weeks. Then they tumbled down to about 15th. Lowest they got was 16th, of like when they played a relevant amount of games. And they ended the campaign with a new manager in 14th place, 11 points clear of the relegation zone. But based on this, Jesse Marsch is not long for the world of Leeds United. But you know what it is? I'm disappointed, so I'm going to give him another crack. We'll go back to the start. It'll be the start of the season once again, and good old Jesse Marsch is going to get another crack at the Leeds United job. Will attempt 2 last longer than attempt 1? Christ, I hope it does. Otherwise, this is going to be really, really depressing for Leeds fans. I mean, they're already sad enough after losing Marcelo Bielsa. Things would get even worse if Football Manager predicted that the new manager is going to be absolutely naff. Let's see how attempt 2 goes. Let's find out. Okay, here we are, attempt number 2. It is the 12th of November 2024, and Jesse Marsch has only just lost his job at Elland Road. 3 years, 127 days in charge of the club. 3 full seasons, lasted half of another one, give or take, and he leaves Leeds United 17th in the Premier League. It's been an awful start to his 4th season in charge. Just 2 wins from the first 11 games. They're only outside of the relegation zone by goal difference. But how have the past few years been going for Jesse Marsch? So, I mean, he's had a few good years there. He's obviously done something right. We'll go to the overview. Let's see how they've been getting on. In his first season, 13th. Leeds fans would snap your hand off for that right now. Second season, even better. 7th in the Premier League. Even better than what Bielsa did in his first year in the Premier League. 7th in the Premier League. They followed that up with a 9th place finish in 2024. Another top half finish. Leeds doing very, very well with Jesse Marsch there. But season 4 is not going well. 17th in the Premier League from their first 11 games in charge. And that has given Jesse Marsch his P45. He won his first 2 games of the season. They beat Tottenham, they beat West Ham. And then after that, the form's been absolutely horrendous. I mean, even the defeats, some against, the likes of Burnley there, they lost to Fulham. Really disappointing. But maybe they've acted a little bit too soon here. Considering how good they've done in the previous couple of years. As we say, the season prior, they came 9th, not too far away from European football. And in his second season, where they came 7th, he got them into the Europa Conference League. If they got another point on the board and a few extra goals, they would have been in the Europa League proper. Let's see how they got on in Europe. We'll go to the season prior, see how far they got in the Conference League. They made it to the group stages. They made it out of the group. And they made it to the semi-final, where they were beaten by Bayer Leverkusen. That's pretty good, 6-4 defeat in the semi-final on aggregate. They even made it to an FA Cup final as well. They beat Man United, they beat West Ham. And in the final, sadly, they were battered 4-0 by Liverpool. But there's no disgrace in that, really, is there? Liverpool are one of the best teams in the world. Jesse Marsch, though, taking Leeds to a cup final. The season prior, did he get any cup success? He was brilliant in the league to get in 7th place, but the cup was a bit more disappointing. What about the 2024 campaign? No, sorry, what about his first campaign? League Cup didn't do too well. It had a pretty dodgy patch there, which could have actually got him sacked. I've seen managers sacked for less. And FA Cup didn't have much joy. But the real season, the second season, brilliant, getting 7th. The third season, a cup semi-final in Europe and an FA Cup final. And another top half finish. Transfers, let's see what he's been doing. We'll go to his first season where he brought in Jan Bednarek for £27 million. That's a lot of money. Season after, didn't spend as much. Marcus Edwards, the bigger rival there at £8 million, £8.5 million, sorry. And the season after, 92 million spent. That was a lot of money. Got Pedro Neto, Omar Richards, Edson Alvarez. Some interesting signings there. But they lost Rafinha. To lose your star player there is pretty brutal. Going to PSG for just shy of £50 million. In his final season, he signed Amadou Haidara, he got Neil Maupay from Brighton. But the new signings didn't get along with the new manager, and he has been sacked after 3 years and 127 days. But you know what? That is a pretty good stint for Jesse Marsch. 2 top half finishes, 1 FA Cup final, and a venture into Europe that nearly ended with Leeds in the Europa Conference League final. Attempt 1 was appalling. Attempt 2, you know what? Pretty damn good. And I think he's been harshly treated here, getting the sack so early into his 4th season. So Leeds fans, it depends whether you're an optimist or a pessimist. If you're a pessimist, he's going to get sacked within the first season. If you're an optimist, you'll be going to the Europa Conference League semi-final in a couple of years' time. Could go either way. Let me know in the comments below how you think Jesse Marsch is going to get on at Elland Road. But for now, we are going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo. And until next time, we will see you around.